Alrighty guys, welcome back to Star Wars Review. Today I'm reviewing Star Wars The Bad Batch Season 2 Episode 8, Truth and Consequences, which was directed by Stuart Lee and written by Damani Johnson, and was released on February 8th, 2023, which I thought was another great episode. It directly follows up on the last one, which obviously makes sense because they released at the same time. But in the last episode, we didn't see the Bad Batch at all, where this episode brings them into, that story from the last episode, and to Coruscant to help Rex out. And like I said, I really enjoyed it. There were some big moments for the clones and also the Bad Batch, which I really, really enjoyed. But the episode starts with the Bad Batch back on Ord Mantell, waiting in the Marauder for Sid to give them a new mission, which we see Omega trying to meditate, trying to do what Gungi showed her, but it doesn't work the same way, which Echo sees her doing that and kind of talks to her about it, and she tries to get him to meditate, which he tells her that because of his time on Skako Minor and whatnot, he doesn't like solitude, and he just talks about his time on Skako Minor a little bit more. He tells Omega if it wasn't for the others, the Bad Batch, would probably still be there, or worse, as he says. Which Omega asks him if that's why he joined them, which he says it's where he needed to be, which I really like that, this little moment between them. It does kind of start to foreshadow what happens at the end of the episode, but their conversation gets cut short as they get a transmission from Rex, who tells them that he needs them for a mission on Coruscant, which Hunter's a little iffy about it because it being the capital of the galaxy and the Empire and whatnot, he doesn't want to go there. But Echo convinces him that the Empire thinks they're dead, so they won't be looking for them. And Rex says it's a covert mission, so there's no reason they should get caught. Which we see Echo tell Rex that they're on their way, which it then cuts to them arriving at Coruscant and flying to the Martez sisters' garage. Which I didn't talk about this in the last episode, but the wide shots of Coruscant, look great and whatnot. I really like them. But they arrive and Rex greets them with Senator Chuchi, which they tell them what happened and whatnot, which they show the Bad Batch that clone assassin, which I guess their name is Clone X, which is extremely cheesy, but I do quite like it. But Rex and Chuchi tell them about Slip and how he knew about Kamino. He knew that Kamino wasn't destroyed by a storm like Rampart was saying, but by Rampart. But they say that Slip was killed by Clone X, and that Slip had made a copy of the command log on Rampart's Venator, so they need to go steal it. And obviously Chuchi wanted Slip to testify for her, and she mentions that, and Echo says that he can do it, but because they're deserters and whatnot, and Hunter and Rex do say this, that that wouldn't be possible. But we see Chuchi then head back to the Senate building, and Omega goes along with her, and there's a nice moment of Chuchi kind of showing Omega the Imperial Senate session chamber place and whatnot, and Omega wonders where the clone senators are, which Chuchi tells her that there isn't any, and that a lot of senators don't view the clones as people, but just as assets to fight their war. But we see Bail contact her again, which Chuchi tells him everything what happened, that she's has people getting some info for her, but referring to the Bad Batch and Rex and whatnot, but wonders if there's any other senators who have info, which Bail tells her to contact Halle Bertoni, the Kaminoan senator who I guess has been removed from office. Bertoni had appeared in several episodes of the Clone Wars and whatnot, but we then see Chuchi and Omega meeting with her, which Bertoni doesn't really seem to care that much about Kamino and whatnot, which it seems like most of the Kaminoans actually got wiped out by Rampart and whatnot. Seemingly maybe they destroyed more cities, or maybe Tipoca City was really the only big city on Kamino. I'm not fully sure, and I really don't know much about anywhere else on Kamino outside of Tipoca City. But we do see Omega kind of getting upset at her about not caring about Kamino and whatnot, which Omega reveals that she is a clone and that she's from Kamino to Bertoni, because Bertoni wonders why she cares. But Bertoni does reveal to them that Rampart did divert funds away from Kamino and the cloning and whatnot without Senate approval. But we then see Rex and the Bad Batch start to pull off the heist on the Venator, which are in this underground maintenance tunnels, which there's a moment between Rex and Echo while Wrecker's kind of cutting through the one hatch. But Rex tells Echo about other clones starting to turn against the Empire and wake up from the programming, I guess, and that help is hard to come by, which the shot kind of lingers on them for a bit. Once again, some foreshadowing there. But Wrecker cuts through and Tech clears some ray shields, and they climb up, which to get aboard the Venator, they climb on to the bottom of these like droid-controlled platform repulsor craft thingies, and Tech hijacks the controls and flies over top of the Venator, where they then drop down on board, and they get inside and make it to the bridge, where they steal the command log, but they alert other clones, so they come up with an escape plan, which they turn on the Venator, so it starts kind of flying, or really just crashing down off these like stand thing it was on, and they then go and steal an escape pod to escape back down towards the maintenance tunnel entrance, which I quite enjoyed this heist. It was a lot of fun. I really liked the escape plan and whatnot. But back at the Senate building, Rampart is trying to start his vote, but Chuchi comes in and starts arguing with him and whatnot, and she reveals Bertoni's story about the Kamino funds being diverted by Rampart and whatnot, and without the Senate approval, which, we then see the Bad Batch getting the command log to Omega, who starts to head to the Senate building. We see Rampart trying to defend himself, which Chuchi then accuses Rampart of deliberately destroying the Kamino and cloning facilities, which Rampart denies, as Chuchi wonders where that proof is, which we then see Omega get the command log to Bail, who then gives it to Chuchi, who then plays it, which shows a hologram of Rampart's Venators destroying Tipoca City, which then Palpatine comes up and shuts everyone up, and Mazamati tells the clones to arrest Rampart, which Palpatine then starts thanking Chuchi for revealing these crimes Rampart did, but Palpatine says it also brings him pause that the clones would blindly follow orders and destroy their home. So he thinks the bill Rampart is proposing should go through, ushering in the new era of the Imperial Stormtrooper, as he says, which this scene was great. I love seeing Palpatine always, 5 steps ahead, and also just the pure evilness of it all, blaming the clones he knows are programmed to follow orders for it. But, that scene is the title of the episode, the good guys burning the truth. But when you're under a fascist government, there's consequences for it. And, they're now responsible for what's going to happen to the clones, which the final scene goes into that. We see the Bad Batch with Chuchi and Rex back at the garage, talking about how they played right into Palpatine's hands. But we see Chuchi tell them that she'll continue to fight for the clones. But the Bad Batch say their farewells to Chuchi, Rex, and Echo, which is revealed that he's staying with Rex to help other clones out, which, obviously this moment is played more from Omega's point of view, because the other members of the Bad Batch already know and are saying goodbye to him. And Omega is surprised by this, as the viewer also. But, Echo tells her that, other clones need his help more than ever now. And he also says to, look after the others and keep up with her training, which obviously, she's upset, but she says she will. And then she hugs him farewell as she then heads back to the Marauder. And, they take off, and that's where the episode ends. Obviously, it was kind of unexpected to see Echo leave. I know some might say it was a sudden, but I felt like there's been a lot of setup to it. Obviously, in this episode, there was a lot of foreshadowing to it. But Echo throughout the series has, been very vocal about not being happy with the way Hunter wants to go and do stuff. Hunter, Echo has obviously been wanting to help fight the Empire, help people like Rex and other clones and whatnot. But Hunter, obviously I don't think Hunter doesn't want to do that, but he more wants to protect the Bad Batch and mostly, Omega. Even though they do go on a lot of crazy missions, but, obviously, I felt like this was a natural progression of Echo's characters. I don't think he'll be gone for long. I assume we'll see Rex and Echo again near the end of the season. But I do think with Echo being gone, we'll start to see Hunter and the others kind of realize that they do need to be doing more, and maybe also Echo is a lot more important to their group and whatnot, which will lead them back to Rex and Echo. But also, there's a possibility maybe we could get an episode with just Rex and Echo doing stuff. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, for the final 8 episodes. But all in all, really loved this episode. Had a lot of great stuff in it. So my grade is going to be an A. So yeah. But that's going to be it for this one. I'll be doing a review of episode 9. The Crossing, I think it'll be called next. So you can check that out then. But that's going to be it for this one. I've been Star Wars. I'll catch you guys in the next one.
Clearly, you're not paying attention to what's happening out there.
It is time for a new era. There are others out there who need